Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call. The first Answer the Call of 2023. And it's starting off a little slow this morning here on Twitch. So we didn't have too many callers. So I wanted to start out with a bit of a long kind of, time on this screen instead of just jumping into callers and seeing what they think, and allow for some people to join the queue, and maybe we'll get to some callers later on today. But I do want to talk about my year in 2022 review and looking towards 2023. For me, 2022 was this absolutely amazing year of kind of growing alongside Star Citizen. We had 2 letters from the chairmans this year. Both of them highlighted Star Citizen's growth. That growth definitely translated into growth to both my YouTube channels and my Twitch channel. It's been a really good year as far as that has gone, to the point where I actually very much considered quitting my job and going full-time in the last month. The most recent letter from the chairman has put a major pause on that decision for the moment. So all I've done is kind of rotate my schedule around a little bit to take more time for content creation and less time at work, but still maintaining that job in my back pocket just in case. Because, the end of this year has been a little bit trying for Star Citizen. I've played Star Citizen less this year than I have any other year. I do not find the game to be fun as much anymore. I've been playing it for a really long time, and 2022 was a year where not a lot happened. Okay, that's not true. 2022 did not build off of the end of 2021. The end of 2021 was incredibly exciting. 3.15, looting, inventory, medical gameplay. It was like, oh my God, it's happening. And then, but also stability. 3.15 had 0 30Ks. 3.17 had a lot of instability. And throughout its entire cycle, all the way to 3.17.4, there were more 30Ks in the 3.17 branch through the entire cycle than there was in 3.15. I think 3.16 was pretty unstable, if I remember correctly as well. In terms of features like inventory, looting, medical, they weren't really built upon in a way that I would have hoped. Another feature from 2021, I believe, not really built upon in 2022, reputation. So for me, I had expectations going into 2022, and almost none of those expectations were met until we got the Wave 1 PTU at the end of the year. 3.18 has a lot of that 3.15 feel to it for me. Some really cool features that could be really exciting and could be built upon. And for me, those are definitely the cargo refactor. Obviously, PES and persistence is a really big deal. The ability to take out more than 3 ships at a time is a huge thing. More players in the server, that was a 2022 thing. Obviously, a very good and exciting thing as well, and is another thing that builds upon this PES server meshing element of the game. So going forward, it will kind of morph into something that makes the game better at some point. But yeah, as far as my expectations went for 2022, it was it's incredibly underwhelming. My hope would have been to see something like a proper reputation-based reward through an in-game mission of some kind, and we didn't really get that. Hell, we haven't even gotten our Halloween event rewards yet, right? And it's 2023. I think those are going to happen in 318 Live, by the way. But that is something I would have really loved to see. Because speaking about the Halloween thing, it's because people in chat are kind of like, wait, what? The reason we didn't get it is because they want to give it to you after the wipe, and the wipe hasn't happened yet because 318 hasn't gone live. So I think that's why we haven't seen it. For the other things like looting and inventory, 318, it took all the way till 318 for that move all button, shift clicking between inventories, but it is a welcome change, right? So the end of 2022 feels a lot better than the whole of 2022, right? But again, it's not live, so it's not really out yet, and we can't really experience it in a stable environment. So overall, my feelings on 2022, incredibly underwhelming. I've played the game less than I ever have before, but on a side note, becoming more of a Star Citizen commentary channel in a way has allowed me to maintain growth in a time where most Star Citizen content creators stagnated or fell off. So from a content creator perspective, it was a great year for me. From what I'm looking for out of Star Citizen, the hole that I want Star Citizen to fill in my gaming, there's a time that I can play games every day. I would like Star Citizen to fill that entire time scale. But the amount of other games that I would rather play over Star Citizen is everything. I'd rather play anything over Star Citizen after 2022 and the year that was. Now, looking forward, we got, 2 letters from the chairmans this year. The first one I felt incredibly positive about. I thought the tone was so different from anything we've heard from them before. It was more reserved. And then it turns out that it wasn't more reserved. It was completely off, and it was more ambitious than I expected it to be. This more recent one, while giving a date for server meshing again, it does feel like a more reserved, again, approach to say, hey, at best, it's coming at the end of the year next year, but probably not, was the tone there. And then the features labeled as coming in 2023, or at least that they're working towards in 2023, are kind of uninteresting, more 2022-esque, because, and I'll list them out to you guys. I'll bring them up here real quick. I gotta find them, though. I wasn't prepared to talk about it right this second, but some of them were like oh my goodness, I'm my brain is fried right now, but let's see. Looking forward, here we go. Bounty Hunting V2. We'll see how that goes. Because we would hope that would also be very NPC based, not just player based. The new item resource system. I do expect to see that in 2023, but I don't expect to see it on all ships. So, yeah. He also touted pyro, but we don't get pyro unless we get server meshing, so we don't expect to see that. The other one are persistent hangars and freight elevators, which is adding on to the cargo refactor. So building up the cargo refactor is something that I think, moving from like the 315 inventory thing to 316, 317, where nothing really happened to build upon that. And for me, just so it's clear, for me, building upon something like inventory would have been making more items that matter, that people want to loot. And I think that they started doing that a little bit. One really big and really, really good change in 2022, removing sniper rifles, railguns, and LMGs from the shops. Big change, really good change. Gameplay related changes like that, I want to see them do more of in 2023. Thoughts on this one, guys? Just putting this out there. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. I want to see them do more of that for literally everything. The only problem is, what is everything after weapons? There's your player armor. We found a cool way. Hopefully, we'll see this in 2023 to create multi-tools, tractor beam attachments, very useful items, right? The other element would be components, ship components. And I would love to see ship components come out of the shops and be earned through, maybe unlocked in shops through reputation, earned in other ways somehow. That would be a really cool 2022 feature, because once persistent hangars, freight elevators start to come online, we're now tractor beam, ship-based tractor beams. We're talking about the ability to not only now loot other ships' components, possibly. That might not be a 2023 thing, but it's the steps towards making it doable. I would love to see reputation-based elements of the shops. I would love to see the ability to find and loot larger items like ship components in some way. I don't think that's going to be a 2023 thing, but the steps towards it are going to be very cool. Imagine finding an Atlas drive, quantum drive, and then using a larger tractor beam attachment to move it or whatever, right? Ship-based tractor beam. That's kind of what I want to see, is start moving in that direction, although we don't have to get there in 2023. Just moving there is a big thing for me. Some form of an economic change to the game where the game's economy impacts the players and the players impact the game's economy more. Those are other changes. I just, in order to not feel the way I feel in 2022, those are kind of the things that I need to see in 2023. Is a little bit more of those gameplay tweaks, the game changes that create a little bit of a struggle, a hurdle. How cool was it taking railguns out of the shops? And when you found one, it's like, whoa, I found a railgun. Sick. My org got together and looted and gathered up railguns and sold them to other orgs so they can use them at Jumptown. It was the best experience I've ever had in Star Citizen history, because I was actually playing the game and I was actually doing something that mattered. More of that, please. So, like, looking back at 2022, what a cool moment. What a fun moment. It was a blip in time, but it was awesome. So, I don't need grand major features to come into the game to make my experience better. I need those little tweaks, creating a little hoop to jump through. And yeah, more impact, right? What if they did something like that with fuel and quantum fuel in the future? And, we have refueling in the game. What if they utilize that in a different and better way? So I think that's where I'm at right now when it comes to 2022 did not build off of 2021. 2023 really has a shot to build off of 2022. It just comes down to how are they going to do it? What's it going to look like? And all that. From a content perspective, I think I've found I'm in a great place. I'm very happy with my Twitch channel. I'm very happy with my YouTube channels. One of the things that I want to do is spend more time on in-game elements on this channel, SaltEMike. So guides and just sharing some of the new stuff that's in a patch and showing you the game. I don't think 2023 is going to be the year for Star Citizen, that's for sure. But I think it could be a year where I play it a bit more than I did in 2022, because I barely played it this year because it just didn't resonate with me. All the other years was talking about what Star Citizen was going to be. Oh, I can't wait till this happens. I can't wait till that happens. A lot of those things started happening. We can loot players. PES is here. Now it's going to be what is Star Citizen going to do for us? What is Star Citizen going to do for us to be more engaging? And that's what my hope for 2023 is a more engaging Star Citizen, something that really grabs a hold of me. So with that said, I am going to go to some callers. So StemPec is here. StemPec, can you hear me? Your mic.
Yes, I can hear you. Hi.
He's there. Cool. Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on the show. So we'll start out with 2022. How do you feel about it?
First of all, Happy New Year, Mike.
A happy New Year to you.
Celebrate great.
Thank
you.
I worked last night, so no celebration here. But I'm going to a hockey game today, so I guess I'm celebrating. And some of my family that lives in Florida is coming with. So we're all going together.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds great. So, starting with 2022, I also played far less.
Okay.
I'm right now in the mode where I only test features. Like something new comes in the game, I test it, is it good? But then I log off again. So because the flow isn't there yet. Where
That's
I think
a good way to put
I
it.
want to do it again and again.
Yeah.
And I was thinking a lot of it in the last minutes, and I think the biggest problem for me is that the basics, like the foundation of the game, is not there yet. I'm coming from games like the very old Star Wars Battlefront 2, the old Battlefront 2, Battlefield 2, and it didn't needed much to have a great game. I mean, we had a very basic map, like 5 classes, no progression at all. So if you switch servers or the round ended, you were back to default, basically. But we played it for countless hours because we didn't care about progression. Back then, progression wasn't really a thing in multiplayer, like the old Counter-Strike and stuff.
Yeah, but I think it's a little different with FPS games than it is with like an MMO, right? Like an MMO progression is everything.
Yes, but my point is, if you have a good basic gameplay, you care less about the progression. It's a nice to have thing, but it's not like, ooh, I I really need it. And the thing,
I got a hard disagree on you with the character progression side. Like it has to be a thing. I need it,
yes, of course, for a
but I
MMO,
also
yes.
agree with like how you feel about this year. Like the flow just isn't there. So I get what you're saying. I'm with you,
So,
but I also like have to say that like
um,
progression is so important.
yes, yes. Like I also played Darktide in the
Okay.
last weeks, and it's PvE mostly.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yeah, there you need grind because mostly you're playing against AI,
Hmm.
and PvP is like you can play the same map, and the outcome can in 100 plays be every time completely different. So there comes always something new, but with PvE, um, when you have repetitive gameplay, it's like, yeah, you need something to work towards. And I
Yes.
think we have this in Star Citizen very much. But looking back to things like Jumptown, I had this mind game. What if we only had like 3 vehicles available, like a Gladius, a Constellation, and some ground vehicle? It would still be fun. We would still play it, and if it would be open, I think there would be people that played for thousands of hours, like over and over again, just to like have the basic. But it would need again the foundation, the gameplay foundation. And there's a problem for me with Star Citizen that like the flight model. Whenever I get into PvP and I have this, yeah, flying 1,000 kph towards someone and back, and you know the problem. It's like this is a game about flying, and already you have a problem in the flight model.
Yeah.
So like most PvP content, even if they added more and more, like bounty hunting and piracy and so on, yeah,
The
we, they all suffer from this single problem.
yeah, the I guess I get what you're saying now. So like, hey, I liked the general gameplay of Battlefront or Battlefield. I can't remember which one you said, but
Both,
the
both.
both, yeah, they're basically the same game, right? But different skin. the the idea of the main source of what you do being completely flawed is a huge problem. And that's something I didn't mention about my like hope for 2023. They have to deliver that change to the flight model, the master modes thing, whatever they planned that they said works and it's great and just blah 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 blah. This is it. They have to do it.
Yes. Like imagine if the flight model was really, really good. Like we wouldn't care so much if salvage would be away for a month or a year, because what we already have would be great. We would think, okay, I'm logging in tomorrow or right now, and I would have a great experience. But I think the biggest problem right now is we log in, we maybe drive with a train to the spaceport, and we're like, okay, what to do now?
Yeah.
Do I want
That's
to
the
do a
progression
bounty?
part for me is um if you have something to work towards, you know, the even the unfun, unpolished, even the flight model issues become less of a problem when you have goals to achieve or hurdles to climb or struggles to defeat. Then dealing with the very obvious issues of the game become less problematic, I guess, is how I view it. And that's why I would like to see more of that added to the game. And uh because at this point, especially after the letter for the chairman at the end of this year, we know we have to wait for what Star Citizen will be and was always planned to be in the long term. All these, technical hurdles that they need to climb over. What are you going to do for us in the short term? I think at this point they have to start maybe, taking those hits a little bit and focusing a bit on the short term at the negativity, the negative backfire that will eventually happen for the long term of finishing the game. Because how long can you make the player base just sit here and wait? But the thing is based on all their metrics and everything, they seem to think they're doing just fine. But so why would they change?
Yes, it's a good game for new players because they're amazed by everything, and yeah, when they recognize the flaws, it's like, oh, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go play other games. And I mean,
Yes,
the
yes.
thing is I don't think gamers today play one game anymore.
No.
That's something that I would pose to like the YouTube comments and people on Twitch here. How many of you guys just play one game every day? Like that's what it was. That's what it was for me when I was a kid. I played Mass Effect every day that I, until I beat it. But then other than that, it was Ultima Online all the time. And MMO players, that's what they want. They want their one game every day. Like hardcore MMO players want that. This is the game I come to every day. But most people today aren't MMO players, And I want to be a one game person. I want to come in and I want my game to be Star Citizen.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah, I
would
want
be
I
great,
want
but
this to be my game, and
I could actually.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, it's fine.
I could actually see this in Star Citizen even right now. If
Yeah, me
like
too.
the flight model would be in a good state, it would be like a perfect day runner. Like with security post career coming, like with 318, you have like the jump down like every time. So if you want it, and I could see myself fighting over jump down for like countless hours. But when I think about it in 318, I see myself surrounded by light fighters coming in and out and in and out for like hours, and I think like, okay, that doesn't look like fun. And
No,
this is again like the basic core gameplay. Like
it's broken.
it's broken, yes. And I mean, even if there would be grind like these special armor and I could keep it, I would think like, okay, I do it one time. I do it one time and then go to another game because I have it. Um, yeah, like for really, this is the difficult part that where even Darktide kind of failed. Um, when you have this PVE and you need the grind to be the main selling point. Um, I don't want to say, but you kind of need to play to build the game around it.
Build the game around what?
Like some kind of progression.
Yeah, that's why I was so disappointed by 2022. They did not utilize reputation at all. Almost zero. Right? Like we saw them reputation give you slightly different bunker missions and pay you a slightly more for killing more ships and bounties. Aside from that, what did reputation do in 2022?
I mean, it's kind of a hurdle to unlock more credits that you kind of don't need.
But what do you do with credits exactly? So there's no,
Yeah,
you just watched your bar go up, and the bunkers, and it was incredibly grindy. Like, actually, like, the word grind can be negative, and I think it can be positive. In this sense, it was pretty negative for me, because the bunker missions are just so bad, bad AI, boring, not unique, not exciting, and yeah, but then I guess like the later ones can get better because you have like the boss and stuff. Because that can get kind of scary. I've had some pretty cool experiences in 318 at SPK against the AI. They have their moments, but it just comes down to I agree with you 100%. The core issue is not is really problematic, and that's the way we fly. But the other core issue for me is that there's no reason to fly. And in 2023, I don't know if they're going to add the reasons, but I feel they need to get the core how we fly in the game
Yeah, this is
resolved.
why I mentioned these really old games. Like I
Yeah.
could have also taken like Battlefield 5. We have progression there, or
Mm-hmm.
like Battlefield 4 and so on. But we also played these really, really old games where we had no progression, but we still logged in every
Yeah.
day and had so much fun because
Yep.
we didn't care about the next weapon. We all, our, our whole mind was, even mostly we played with friends or like people we didn't know but get to know. And it was like, how do I defeat him this time? Or I want to do something different this time. It
Mm-hmm.
was never about, I need a special weapon to have some benefit over him. It was always like, it was so completely different. Yeah. Um, the thing with adding like progression right now is they're still building the game, and I have the feeling that they're like, if we build like these progression paths and items and so on, what if we need to rebuild them again,
Yeah.
like with the ships?
Yep.
And this is like really hard to justify from a project management standpoint, to be like, okay, I think like they go the minimalistic way. We add something, but not fleshed out. So like the least effort
And it's what
solution.
they have done, right? Everything
Yeah,
is just very tier zero, uh, cargo refactor down to reputation. It doesn't. It's not tied into anything. It doesn't do anything, but it's there and it works. I mean, selling is the best example. What a shitty system. But can I sell something from my inventory? Yes.
yes. Yeah. Um,
And I think that's what we're
but
going to get in 2023. But that's why I just hope we get exactly what you said. The core flying part. That's
yes,
not
and also
something that
like
that
the
applies to the problematic issues of we will have to rebuild again as much, hopefully.
yeah,
Since this is like the
also
fifth
like
try.
the engineering gameplay,
Yeah,
where I look really forward. Like if these things work, I don't care if I have a merchantman in 5 years. Like if it works in a constellation or
exactly.
a hammerhead, it's like I can fight hammerhead against hammerhead like for days, because there's so many possibilities I can try out,
Hmm.
and that sounds fun to me. So like I don't need 10 ships to do it. It's fine if I do it with one ship. You know,
Yeah.
more is a benefit. Okay. Something I want to go in is like, I don't know how much time we have left. Is like from letters of the chairman, where I
Okay.
look mostly into is like the part with the replication layer. Like I have
And
it
by the way,
open.
I'll say just like a couple minutes, and yeah.
Yeah. Um, how do I explain this? Kind of like the part where they talk about having the game less server dependent, like where a
Mm-hmm.
lot of stuff moves to the client, like this
Yeah.
technical talk and so on. I think this is one of the biggest features of the year that we're gonna see. Being more crash resilient. Like if server goes down, everything is still on the client, and our server loads up. We don't have the 30k. We we transition from server to server without any error, kind of. So like this is the one of the biggest step I think for the game. Like
And for me, the like even bigger, just even if the server does go down, I mean, like I played Daisy and the server goes down sometimes, and you wait, you log back in, and you're right back on the same server in the same place with your stuff. Maybe rolled back like a minute or so, and then you're good,
yeah,
right?
but that's a great thing.
Yeah,
You
of
don't
course.
notice when your server goes down.
Yeah, so that
You
would
will not
be
notice it. It's
that would I'm with you. That would be great, but what I'm saying is I don't even need it to be that great. I would be so happy with the next step, which would be the matchmaking element of it. Of hey, my home server is server 100. Like add from the letter for the chairman and what I can expect to see in 2023. I cannot wait for that. Server 100 or whatever server I choose is going to be the server I play on, and my progression will be made on that server. I'm going to leave stuff out in the middle of nowhere, and I know how to get to it. Whatever kind of thing, and really see what persistence can do. It'll be a lot of fun, and that I think. But also like as a streamer and being able to play with your friends, that's also a much better experience is being able to choose your server and wait in a queue. I love that.
yeah,
And then, but like
like
obviously the next layer is even more exciting. I'm not getting excited over something that may or may not exist
see,
this
I don't
year.
believe we will see static server meshing this year.
Yeah, me neither.
I
So
don't believe.
I don't care kind of thing.
So I think like we can go like half of the letter from 4.0 and be
Yeah.
like, this is 2023.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I just hope this replication layer comes in, and this would all be great. So like no crashes, you can choose your server. Like you said in one video or a call, we don't need pyro, and this is
I don't.
what I also mean. We just need
We need a
basic
good
good
Stanton.
gameplay. Yeah, basic good gameplay. If this works, it doesn't need 5 systems. One is fine for the moment. Just this basic stuff needs to work, and it's kind of sad that it doesn't right now.
Yeah.
So like, and especially because of stupid reasons. So
I think you make a
uh,
really, really good point, though, is that it starts with the flight. It has to start with the flight and build from there. I
yes,
mean, obviously, like the server stuff is, totally different than that. And, they could focus on that as well. But from the actual game and what we're playing, it's got to start there. It really does.
who would have known that in a space game the flight model is
Would
something
be,
important?
yeah, wouldn't, yeah. I mean, they did,
Like in a
but
shooter.
they just never got it right. And hopefully they did this time. But all right,
Yeah,
Stempek, I think this is a good time to leave it. Is there any like final quick thoughts you want to make?
I think it was a great talk. I had my difficulties with English, but I think
You
it
were
was alright.
great.
um, yeah, I think you got my point.
Yes.
And yeah, it was great being here. Thank you.
Yeah. No
And
problem.
have a celebrate the new year. Have a good day.
I will. Thank you so much. Happy New Year, and I wish you and your family all the best.
Thank you. Wish you
Bye
too.
now. Bye now. Our next caller is Raptor. Oop, let me click you in, Raptor. There you go. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, start out with 2022. How'd you feel about it? I'm assuming you heard all the things I said. You can respond to any of that, and then move on to 2023.
Well, 2022, as far as I guess Star Citizen is concerned, There were some minor things that I actually liked. Like,
Okay.
I could finally the ships would stop warping around a lot, which was a big help when actually trying to engage in
Desync.
combat.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, they did have the siege came in, which I spent a lot of time on. I believe that was also this year, but I mean, overall, it was kind of tempered as a mild year for me. I mean, there were
Sure.
some minor improvements that improved playability for me, which I liked, but was I expecting a little bit more? Kinda, but then 318 came out and I jumped into that a little bit. I tried to play with Captain Richard, but I ended up giving up when I started falling through the elevator for about 45 minutes, and that was
That
the end of my PTU stint.
that last patch, man, so disappointing because they were starting to get. It felt like they were starting to get things more in a playable state, and then that was the last patch that started happening to people, and the only fix is resetting your account apparently, or going into Arena Commander, and yeah,
Yeah, I did.
you got to jump through 35 hoops just to play the game. I'll go play something else. Like once I got to jump through that
I,
many hoops, I'd rather go do something else.
that's basically what happened. I had a
Yeah.
couple games from GameFly sitting around. I started playing those.
Yep.
I did recopy my PTU account, so probably at some point I will probably jump back in, hope that fixes the issue, and
Yep.
then we'll go from there. I mean, as far as what you said earlier, yeah, not a one game Andy. I play a lot of games from World of Tanks to Forza to Final Fantasy because Star Citizen is just not where I need it to be, and I don't know if it's because of the upcoming wipe in 318 that not a lot of people are farming their fake UAC because it doesn't matter anymore because they're going to be wiping everything from your money to your reputation.
Yeah.
So they might be waiting for a playable build of 318 to actually come through where maybe they'll be able to do stuff that they want to do.
Sure. Like, I mean, there is some, I don't want to say there's no progression because buying ships in the game can definitely feel like progression. I mean, there's nothing I like doing more than a zero to hero type account in Star Citizen. It's very fun. It does get incredibly repetitive though, and that's sort of, leaning back on some of the things that we were talking about with Stempec is the core game is not enjoyable, which makes the what little progression you have very repetitive, and on top of that the flight combat and all these other issues. But yeah, I mean, looking forward to 2023 and the Roberts letter. What do you think about those?
Well, go back to one thing I was
Sure.
considering with the I guess the what do you call it? The cutter package. I was considering getting another account
Okay.
that has just that one ship on it instead of the many ships that I have and trying to give that a try.
It's
It's
fun, you should.
just um it's just the other thing is like the same thing you were saying with rep before too. Like you get CDF rep and you got armor. It didn't really feel like there was anything substantial from there, from like, maybe buying specialized weapons, components, something with that would make the rep worthwhile at the moment.
Yeah. It just it's lacking, to for lack of better words. It's just lacking right now. But I think it will continue to lack, and I shifting my thought process a little bit more. It is very unrealistic to think that Star Citizen should and will make the game in 2023, right? They have to. It still does make more sense to continue to add these little features as they go and then eventually tie them together and start making the game that way. But how many reworks are we going to need for mining,
Light
bounty
model.
hunting,
Mhm.
cargo, like all the, it's we are so far away. So for me, I wonder why why not build up these other systems a little bit more as a
Building
guide
block.
for what your other features should come in looking like, right? I mean, mining they built up for a while, and then salvage came in and was more polished than mining was when it first came in, right? So that's kind of my
Not going to deny that.
mind with
Yeah.
that, That's where my
That
mind is with that is what is a more
flesh out their
finished
features.
what does a more finished feature look like? And this is your guide for building out tier 0 features in the future. But yeah.
No, that's definite. As far as the chairman's letter and 2023, I mean, there's a lot of, well, we want to do this, but we're not sure how it's going to work. So basically, be prepared for delays. That's what it kind of seemed like a little bit. And while there were some, let me bring this up on my other screen. I mean, while he was talking about other stuff, I kind of would like to know a little bit if they actually know, like, how is the bounty hunting actually going to work? Because they want to bring that into 2023. So if it
Well, they're talking about a
involves,
tracking system, and so though they're actually hunting somebody, maybe leaving little clues is what it looks like, and then the big thing is restrain and transport both players and AI.
that is the thing that I was going to actually.
Yeah.
How is that going to work? Because AI doesn't care, but if you're actually doing an actual player, how is that going to work?
Oh, I think it's
And
really simple.
how long are they going to be stuck there?
I think that's super simple. You knock them out, and then you click the button that says restrain, or you put restraints in your hand, and then click on them and restrain. I think it's not going to be there shouldn't be a design document to explain to you how restraining is going to work. I don't think. I think it'll be
I guess I meant
relatively
more
simple.
along the transport line. Like you restrain, like you got a bounty. Someone comes after you. I mean, how long are you going to be, I guess, locked
If
with that
you
other
are
player?
restrained, how long do you have to sit there and wait?
Yeah, because I know they were talking about eventually like separating the character from, I guess, their restrained character at some point. So it's not like,
Yeah.
someone grabs your bounty and then they're trying to fly around with you just for the hell of it around the universe for the next 3 hours.
Yeah, that was something they talked about many years ago for this system was when you get restrained, you're just teleported to prison, but the person is bringing your restrained character to elsewhere. But what if they want to remove your restraints and let you go? What if they change their mind? Right?
Yep.
Does that really work? I don't know.
That is like something that I am wondering about, because there's also only, if you decide to actually use some of the features, I don't know how many there are, but you got like the hawk, you got the blue.
There was a long time ago in the Avenger, but I don't think that's a thing. Is it? Or is it? I can't remember. The Stalker.
They used to have cells in there. I haven't seen them since in the ship, but the blue's got cells all over the place. The hawk's got it in the back, and I think, is it a ship that's no, I think it's a ship that's coming out, actually has like a brig as opposed to anything that's out like right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the big ships have brigs.
But then also looking on this as well, they said, maybe there would be more Squadron 42 related work coming, which, it seems like that game is still far off.
Yeah, I mean, that's whatever. It's basically everything that he's talked about there was, if you watch the end of CitizenCon, all the videos that they showed. What my takeaway from that is, he said towards the end of the year those features would come in. But what we saw was a big improvement on what we have now. The way EVA worked, even the mounting, like even though it was in like a white box level, looked pretty good. And they want to really polish it before it comes to us. So that's what I looked at when I saw that in the letter. It was like, oh, so they, even though they were comfortable showing it to us, they want to really, 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 really nail it down and then give it to us. So like a fully finished, polished feature. That is,
which would be
that
nice.
is like that will be nice, and that's, I guess, where they're trying to be like, see, Squadron 42 is a good thing, even though you showed it to us, 3-4 months ago, and now it's another year away. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, some of the other things, and I think they had. Was it also this year that they had the 3-hour ship review, the ship talk that they had with Jared? That was
that was
this year.
this. I don't know if it was 3 hours, but that's.
There was a really long video that was a few hours long that seemed to, and
I
I
don't think
guess
that
this
was
will be
this year.
All I just remembered is they stopped doing the what do you call it? Throwing out ships just to throw them out now.
Oh
I
yeah,
think was
the
one of the
Galaxy
things.
totally didn't just throw that out to throw it out there.
No, I mean actually like bringing ships in
Oh, in
that
the
had
game,
no that had no
they continued to do that.
complete
They
features, I
they
think.
continued to do that.
Yeah.
They kept doing that.
But I mean I mean, am I hopeful something will happen with the letter from 2023? I'm hopeful. Realistically, I don't plan on Pyro till maybe 2024. But I mean, the other thing is, I want to know, like, I guess, are they changing the wormhole mechanics for
I don't think
traveling?
so. They've stuck with that the whole time. Why would they? They've given zero indication that they would. Why would they?
Yeah. No,
I'm
it
assuming you
just
want them to.
seems. Oh, the whole. I don't know, the whole back and forth, like you were going like a inner body experience, kind of going like through something, pumping something, just seemed kind of strange, I guess
I mean, it's
would be the
better than a
word.
loading screen. That's how I look at it.
True, but
It's
I mean,
interactive.
at least let it go without the constant, I guess, back and forth.
I mean, I'm sure they'll polish it, but yeah. I don't know. I think you're being nitpicky there, and it's something that's super far away.
It could be, yeah. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping that what they're trying to do in the chairman's letter, some of it will come through, especially the um being able to pick servers,
Yes.
which will
Very
be
excited for
very
that.
good, hopefully. But I mean, overall, I think some of these will be pushed back to. I think 2023 is going to be kind of it might end up being a more mild year as far
Yep.
as
I
what
think
they
it's going to
think
be
they're going to
very
give us.
similar to
Yep.
2022.
Yep.
It just comes down to what those other little minor features are and how fun they are. That's how I'm kind of taking my approach to 2023. Is I have really enjoyed 318 so far because the features in a vacuum are quite fun. So just moving boxes around and the cargo refactor stuff, salvaging, security post Korea, and I think that's really racing, right? All these features like in a vacuum are actually pretty fun on their own. So just
Yeah, I
kind
have
of
wanted to jump
checking
in
those
with you,
out. Yeah,
but one, my work schedule, but two, the whole I just had trouble playing the PTU, just kind of dampened all of that.
exactly. But it doesn't mean that you aren't going to get to try them. When it's more stable and it's out in the on live, right? They'll all be pretty fun to check out and try, and
Oh no,
racing
definitely.
especially. So that's something I'm kind of holding off on since things are so unstable right now, and looking forward to when it goes live, spending more time doing that. But all right, Raptor, we've been going for a little while. Is there
Yep.
anything you want to add at the end before we go to the next call?
Nope, I'm actually done. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Happy New Year. And
Happy
all
New
the
Year
best
to
to you and
you.
your family.
You too.
Bye now. All right. Hopefully this works. iDrive. Are you there? Mic working? Everything?
Can you hear me?
I hear you. We made it.
I'm here. Can you talk? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Okay. Oh, that's so cool. I apologize for your frustrations earlier.
Okay, no problem. You hear me? You're not hearing me through the stream,
I'm
right? You
just
hear me
gonna-
through Discord. You're listening to me through the stream.
I can hear myself through Discord, but I'm not hearing you for some reason.
You're hearing me through the stream. Okay. You got to get your audio right.
Yeah. I'm just gonna. Yeah. I'm just gonna do this real quick. I don't want to.
Go for it. I won't say anything.
Well, anyways, for me, 2022, I'm gonna second, was not a fun year. 2023 was also. Looking forward to it. It doesn't look like it's going to be a fun year for us as players, but I just want to throw out, I don't think it's going to be a fun year for the devs. They're going to be sitting there working their butts off, and they're going to have to deal with a community that's not getting fresh content the way we're used to or the way we expect. And I don't think that's going to go well. When we look at somehow some of the communication went at the end of 2022 with the cargo refactor and the Galaxy, there were some major misses there. And with those misses, like a lot of that was the marketing team trying to pump up the community, and then the developers having to back off on what they could deliver in a reasonable time frame. And I really think the marketing team sort of put the developers in a bad spot, and I really hope they do better on that next year.
Good luck with
But
that.
for next year, I'm looking forward to the new flight model. I'm really hoping the replication layer gives us better AI, less laggy gameplay. And I really just want them to focus on quality of life improvements, just so we can play the game and not have to deal with the frustrations of constantly having the game break on us and destroy what we're trying to do. And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Well, thanks, iDrive. Sorry for our audio problems.
Sorry for the rant.
Yeah, no, dude, it was great. So I'll put you in the caller dump, and I appreciate the comments, especially the one about the marketing team. They did seem to put them in a bad place. All right, man. Bye now. All right, so our next and final caller is Domino, who's in a little gift box. How cute. Domino, what's up?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good.
So, your thoughts on 2022, but then going into 2023?
2022. For me, it was the first year of Star Citizen actually playing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been following Star Citizen for a while. 2022 was the first year actually playing it.
Did you buy it before then, or?
No, because
Okay.
I had just a laptop. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, no, the first update is of course looting that I was really excited for. And it's the nav mesh. It sounds weird, but
it's a big deal. I didn't even think of it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because I was excited for actually new missions, and seeing it in 3.18 at the Durlic outpost, seeing actually NPCs that are doing nothing, to be honest, but seeing them there already is already more than just the bunkers, and going to a wreck site, there is nothing. And that's something I want to see more in 2023. And that can also tie in, of course, with the whole reputation system. Having new, different kind of missions, because each time when you have like a mission now, it's always the same. Go here, kill 7 enemies, you're done.
Can I bounce off of you a little bit with that? There was a Star Citizen Live with a guy who works in Montreal, who works on the character team, or he is the character team. He is the head of it. He was really excited to deliver many more characters in the future. And one of the other things that I think really makes the game stale is, yes, nav mesh is sick. They use the same AI for everywhere in the nav mesh. It's all
Yes.
Ninetales, right? So
Yes.
so bringing and adding more life to the game, and even though our AI do nothing, and they are not great to interact with now, we know that that's something we're going to have to deal with for some time until the technical hurdles are jumped over.
Yeah.
But one thing that they could do to really make that feeling a little bit less shitty is for that guy to achieve some of his goals and deliver more characters into the game and more unique experiences. Even just as simple as going to Security Post Korea and some of the guards just being in suits with a pistol was a very good experience to have. It was like, whoa.
Yeah, even the Ninetales in 3.18. I don't know if you have done some bunkers or the Horizon platforms.
I cannot get the mission to start it. I have yet to get the mission to start a bunker.
Because
not
they
been
do
able to
have
go to a
some
bunker.
different character outfits as well. So
really, like
it's
what?
It's not all the armor. Some lower walk just in simple suits. They don't even have a helmet on. They even just have simple pistols just instead of the SMGs. There's some variety already, but
cool.
Yeah, but it's just the missions after a while feel stale. That's because my goal in Star Citizen was grinding the reputation, because I'm an MMO player. I like grinding.
Yeah.
But after a while, getting the same type of bunker, same missions, especially the wave missions, it feels stale. And
yeah. Like what is the difference between your typical MMO grind and the Star Citizen grind? The Star Citizen grind is the same mission, the same outcome.
Reward. Yeah.
Right? Kill this many NPCs, the reward pops up. It's kind of unassuming. An MMO grind tends to be the same mission with the I don't know what reward I will end up with at the end. Yeah. Sometimes it's shitty loot, and sometimes it's really good loot. And that's the kind of element of Star Citizen that is missing. And that's what was, I think, a big win for the Halloween event that we had this past year, and just generally taking those weapons out of the shop. So when you do go to a bunker, sometimes you open a container and it's like, nice, that's what I was looking for, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what a good grind is, to me.
Yeah, and it's also like, for example, the mission Siege the Data, where you have to go board the Reclaimer. It's a good mission, but it's just the payout and maybe the grenade launcher on the bottom.
Yeah.
Why not extend it a bit? And that's the whole problem I had with Star Citizen this year. It's the first month is fun. It's experiencing everything new. It's fresh. The immersion is amazing.
You cannot find another game that is
this
immersive.
That's what sold me. It sold me so quick, and but after a month, it got stale. Again, I love it. I just jump in, maybe do a cargo run or two, do a bunker mission or two, but yeah, I don't see a point coming back. That's the problem I have.
Yeah. And that's fine. I mean, the point now for like this is what most players I think do is they buy the game like you did. They saw all the stuff. Okay, I'm bored. Go play other games. New stuff comes out. I check out the new stuff. Okay, I'm bored. Go play other games. And that's just but we all know because the game is so immersive and so like you just have a couple wow moments while you're experiencing those features. You're like, damn, I really want this game to be better. And that's all that is the root of all of my anger around this game or frustration around this game is I just want the game to be better, because I have these moments where it's like, wow, if only, you know? And yeah.
And it even goes on with mining. Like you can mine the gems, but what do you do with them? You sell them. Why not make something with crafting? Like,
I mean, that's what's so great about salvage and why that was such a big deal. Yeah, it's a stupid multi-tool. It doesn't matter. But
it's the first step.
But to show that they cared enough to do it is what mattered to me.
Yeah.
But then am I going to get duped again? Like it was how I felt about 2022. Like, oh my God, they care. They added looting. They didn't have to do this, but they did it anyway. And then it's going to build up. And it didn't really build up. So, like, are we going to start, what are other things that we're going to craft in the future?
Yeah, it's the player economy that needs to go in. It's now just Alpha UAC that goes up.
Yeah.
I want a player economy as well. Like, go to a space station, I see someone, and he's like, "Oh, I need some ammo." Because if you cannot buy in a shop, you need to actually trade something. That's the first step. For example, you said with the railguns. But if you can do that with more items, even just armor or ship components, and that's what I want to see. And
For sure.
I kind of hope.
Do you think you're going to see it in 2023, though? I don't think so.
I don't think so, but my copium is real with the bunkers, going in a room, you see a few SCU boxes, you can track the beamer. That's my imagination going too far, I know, but it's that's how I want to see this game going.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think you really opened my eyes a little bit again with the, like, I'm an MMO player, I like to grind. And then I just stopped for a second and was like, grinding's not a bad thing. It's there's good grinds and there's bad grinds. CIG has yet to create a good grind yet. And I think they could really go ahead and look at what they missed there. And I think it's so simple. It's so simple because, again, it was a grind for me to find the Vandal helmet for the Halloween event, but I enjoyed that experience. As stupid as it was,
satisfaction getting it,
Yeah, flying around, going to open box after box after box. It was the dumbest event I've ever seen, but that is a better grind than doing the bunker missions, and that's saying something.
Yes, I mean, just going for a simple goal, and the reputation was the only goal. Well, not per se the only goal, but it was the first goal I had in Star Citizen, writing out the reputation for bunkers. But yeah, there's nothing after it, and it's always the same kind of missions. It's
Yep, that's Star Citizen for right now.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll ask again because I'm not sure if we touched on it too much yet. But what do you see in 2023? What are did you check out the letter? What did you think? And
I saw the letter a little bit, but again, it's Pyro. I don't think it will be next year. It's I don't know. I actually don't know what I think because, again, it's the first year playing Star Citizen. I care, but this is the first year from time for me playing Star Citizen, and all I have seen so far is delays. So I'm not sure if they can deliver on it, and of course I think the devs care about it. They worked all hard on this game, but I think everybody is too, how do you say it, too enthusiastic, they want to do so much things in the game, but they cannot finish their product. I don't know how to actually say it. My English is fucking up.
It's fine. I don't know. I look at 2023 and I just see a lot of 2022. But it just comes down to are those little in a vacuum features going to be fun to enjoy, and go from there. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, no, but again, as well with looting now with 3.18, the move all button, and that's what I thought was gonna happen with looting, but now a year later, it's there, and it's an amazing feature, and I'm excited for just a simple button. But again, I need the content around it as well to enjoy the move all button.
Quality of life plus a little bit of content. And I say 2023 is a success. That's how I look at it. But
Maybe
all right.
they're gonna polish what they finished in 2022. That's actually how I see it.
Keep smoking the copium, because that's what I was hoping 2022 was, and boy was I wrong. So,
Yeah.
but again, the one thing that I'm hoping is the cargo refactor is a multi-patch refactor.
Yeah.
Because it does look that way with the freight elevators, persistent hangars. That's a
Yeah.
part of the cargo refactor. The flight model and the core way that we play the game is in a more final state. And then after that, it's quality of life things like FPS desync,
Yeah.
you know, and a little more variety in characters and loot. And, you know, I don't know. One thing that I think Escape from Tarkov did really well is make every item matter in the game, but it took a while for them to get there. Once they added the bunkers or your hideout, that's when those things kind of mattered. Star Citizen
Doesn't have anything.
doesn't have anything to make them matter, but they could continue to build that ecosystem out a little bit. And then, when we have base building and we have places to build up or whatever, then yeah, I could see that being cool. Like going back to just even one thing that I thought was really awesome in 2022 that just never really did anything was derelict outposts you go to. If you loot the containers there's a unique items, the artifacts, and like there's no place to display them. They have no value. They don't do anything. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what if you can bring it somewhere? Yeah, that's my whole MMO stuff. Like, I want to collect them all. You bring it to someone, you get an extra reward back, and that's how I see progression in a game. And
yeah, for sure.
It's
You and I are on the same page. I see why you watch my channel, because we definitely.
it's the copium. I want to see this game.
We have the MMO mindset on what we want the game to be, and a lot of people don't have that mindset, and you'll see people disagree and argue and go against.
But I get it as well.
But
why people don't like the grind stuff, because
so do I.
All the MMOs that I play, there are people in. They're just playing for a few hours. They come in, they do a raid with you, and they're gone for like a week, and that's it. And so I get it, but I prefer sometimes just doing one thing, getting that reward, and feeling you get something, some how do you say it? I just like to complete
satisfaction.
Stuff. Being a completionist in game.
Okay, true. All right, well, Domino, I think that's where we'll leave it, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Yes, same to you. Happy New Year.
All right. Be good. All right, and we have a late entry here, although Kowalski, I want to make sure that, because I saw you in chat, so I hope you're not responding to anything we're saying based on what you said in chat, because we could argue a little bit on this, but I want to stick to the topic. So if you're coming in, what's your 2022 year in review, and what are you looking forward to in 2023? And then we can maybe touch on your comments from chat.
Yeah. Well, my 2022 review is not so big because I only joined in 3.18 BTU, though I'm very happy with finally getting a patch which applies to my gameplay. So I'm positive about the year, though I didn't play the entire year. So for the folks who were just stalling on 3.17 the entire year, it probably was kind of like a dull year, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. I'm
not
one
so
of those.
much to see the. So yeah, I understand your opinion. What I'm looking forward in 2023 is actually caring about ships.
Caring about ships? What do you mean?
Well, we have that persistent system in game right now, right? And we have shards.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do any sort of matchmaking where they can allow us to choose our shards, then we finally can keep using our ships as a place where we spawn, a place where we respawn, a place when we stockpile our resources. I
Yeah.
mean, I'd be happy to, like, as a criminal player, being forced to use like my ship instead of Grimhacks as a base, right? This would be something interesting. Though I understand it's not going to happen next year.
Yeah, probably
Well,
not. It's my dream. Like
yeah, I'm just talking about a dream. Yeah.
the Carrack for me is a ship that just oozes that scent. Like,
Yeah.
this is where I live. I have my little place where I store my food. I got my place where I store my ammo, and my armor. It just kind of fits like a place that I can live on this ship with me and a couple other guys, and we store all our crap here, and we fly around, do our thing, and then we park it somewhere in the middle of nowhere and see you tomorrow.
That's why I bought Carrack.
Yeah.
Exactly. Realistically, what I'm looking forward in 2023 is probably polishing the PS, probably and polishing the cargo, and I think this will be the first half of the year.
Yeah.
No doubts about that.
But
What's
you can't
gonna
sleep
be
on the little other things that, just pop up out of nowhere. Like, what about these investigation? It might not be gameplay you're interested in, but like, because I'm not, I don't think I'm going to be very interested in investigation gameplay. But what does that look like? And the bounty hunter thing, and yeah, there's a number of random ass gameplay that's shown up over the last year, and I'm also super curious to what those things will be in 2023 as they improve their processes and get more employees. And it seems like they're getting more game designers, which is a very positive thing, because I don't feel like they had like any until this year. There was like 3 that showed up on camera in 10 years.
So when people touch things like exploration, investigation, and so like to some extent medical gameplay, I'm very skeptical about that, because well, you either have a preset of good missions, which are finite, and well, the person who's interested in such gameplay would probably run out of them pretty quick.
Yeah.
Right. Either you have randomly procedurally generated missions, which are shallow, to be honest. Like,
yes.
They cannot have the same amount of deepness as a pre-programmed stuff. So when people talk about all those things and flying their dreams on like undiscovered planets, named moons by themselves, well, that may happen once or twice for a certain chosen one as a pre-programmed event, right? So the first one would be able to do that, maybe.
People have a
if they
very
allow that.
skewed view of what exploration is in Star Citizen, I think. It's treasure hunting. It's randomly generated shit.
Exactly. It's Skyrim bandit camp clearing quests.
Yeah.
This is what it's gonna be.
Yep.
It's gonna be the same as current delivery missions, just the bases would appear randomly. The caves would fill out with enemies randomly.
Yeah, and it might just be like procedural story. Like, maybe these investigation missions eventually tie into something that is more a style of what a treasure hunt would be, right? It's what random enemies that you would have to deal with. Maybe none. Maybe it's a jump puzzle. Maybe it's not. And then whatever the thing at the end is, whatever the reward is. Like, that's just how I see exploration.
Yeah, and it's kind of not so easy to do like a proper, like even a good jump puzzle procedurally, right? Like you have to have preset of things that can easily be matched together to make it even playable. But anyway, let's get back to the topic of investigation gameplay. So, while I'm not interested in investigation gameplay, I'm interested in tools which allow me to investigate. It all depends on what type of investigation gameplay they would allow us to do. If they would allow
Scanning.
us to track scanning and tracking ships,
Scanning in 2023. Do it better.
yeah, this is what I want. This is what I want for, like, I want this because I need this. This is like detrimental to my gameplay.
Scanning is one of the worst features in the game currently, I would argue.
If they allow us to track like ships in QT, or to see like QT tracks, like, I don't know how to say it, just to understand where this ship worked like 3 minutes ago. Yeah, like something energy in the space left. That would also be good for me, right?
Yeah.
On the other hand, I think if they do that, they really should implement something more lasting than just a crime stat that can be cleaned out in prison.
Oh, they touched on it in 1 or 2 monthly reports last year, and then nothing. Long-term reputation.
I'm really looking forward for turning long-term red rep, so I'll be more restricted, which would make my gameplay more thrilling, I'd say, more spicy. And I would have to think when I do anything, when I make a move, when I warp somewhere, when I choose a station, because
it may force you to interact with, like, okay, so we can touch on this very briefly because I think it's incredibly off topic, but not really. You came into chat about that Star Citizen will not have a player economy, or we will not be able to interact with it much. I largely think you're right. And I think Tony Z's ideas are not good I don't think they're going to be good for the game long term. I think they're going to make the game quite boring if it all plays out the way we think it may, based on what he said. If long-term reputation comes into play and you continue to start removing things from the shops. You got all these guys come in that are not native English speakers. You guys speak better English than I do, okay? If you can't tell. If they start taking more items out of the shops and create a situation where if you are in a position where you like forcing you to interact with other players that would provide you with things that you need. What if it's hard to find food and drink? I don't think food and drink is a good example, but maybe weapons, ammo, fuel, things like that.
Like a railgun, it's a good example.
Yeah, the railgun's a great example of why it was such a good idea, I think. But if you take long-term reputation and then you start building the struggle for players that have negative reputation, or even a struggle for players who maybe there's something at Grimhex that they want, but because they're friendly with Crusader security, that's a hurdle they have to climb over and maybe interact with players who have good reputation around Grimhex or with the Ninetales. That player economy all of a sudden starts to exist. And we're working outside of Tony Z's economy, which is a very healthy thing. That's why long-term reputation, I think I'm going to tweet out a wish list for 2023. But if I was going to make one, long-term reputation, master modes, or some finalization of what the flight model is going to be like.
Some finalization of flight model.
Not finalization, huge. But like master modes, they think they have it, put it in. For me personally, I don't want to involve myself in combat because I don't want to have to relearn something. I'm so bored of, I just want them to stick to something and that's sort of it. Obviously, it's going to get tweaked and all that. But for me, it would be long-term rep, flight model change, and building reputation systems into the game a bit more for reward-based reputation. And I think that would be my 2020. And then obviously the other things that we've seen, like persistent hangars, freight elevators, building upon the cargo refactor and crafting. And that'll create that player economy. That would be my wish list, I think.
I pretty much agree. Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds good. It
It all
sounds
good. Is it realistic though? Is a whole nother thing.
I mean, it sounds good because it sounds realistic, right?
Okay.
I mean, we're not asking for new star system. We're not asking for something they didn't start to work already on and stated that. We're not asking for server meshing.
No, I'm not.
No, it sounds realistic. Although, even if we get half of this list, it's fine in Star Citizen terms, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to answer to your idea of player economy based on reputation items. It will work if either those items are time gated somehow. Either you have, like, besides UAC, some other types of currency which you can spend on items that are exactly bought from reputation stores. You know how the game, usually MMOs, do that. Because otherwise, once you get to a certain level of reputation, you can infinitely, let's be honest, like, you will be infinitely be able to buy any limited stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it should come from a store, to be clear.
Yeah.
I think it should come from a reward from a mission giver type scenario.
So what I predict is what's gonna be is there would be, like, in the end, yeah, let's imagine 15 years in the future the game released, and then there would be like 4 or 5 main points of interest for players that grind certain factions, and 80% of players would want to go there, and that would be the most biggest battles would happen there. But again, maybe this would happen for 1 year after the game releases, but then they're gonna throw us another stick, another update. So Star Citizen would eventually become a seasoned-based game where they add more factions, more meta ships, more meta armor. Because if there is no power play, there is no player economy. If there is nothing to lose, people would just get bored pretty fast.
And they don't want. I don't think they want power play because they don't want metas.
They definitely do not want power play because they are control freaks.
Yeah,
they're just control freaks. If an effort of 100 people would somehow disrupt gameplay of just one single person on the other side of the verse, this is bad for them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I would say let's park this conversation for another day because it is a good one, but it's not today's topic. So
sure,
I don't know.
Finished.
Overall, yeah, you're done. Overall, I think last year was pretty tough. I'm going to try and take a little bit more of a positive outlook on 2023, even though I don't think it'll be much different. I'm just going to check out the features and try some things, but I'm not going to really dive in head first and try to play the game every day because it just doesn't support what I need from it, which is really that MMO type grind. And my hope is that we start seeing a work towards it, but not it really finalized and in the game yet. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to add before you head out, Kowalski?
Yeah, I just believe that Star Citizen is really not a game to play every day.
No.
But it's a good game to play a couple of months and forget about it for another year and come back like I do usually.
Yeah.
And that's how I get joy from the game. I don't like it. It's hard for you, almost impossible, and I understand your struggle. But I'm happy to be in my position, just to be able to ignore it when I don't want to.
Yeah. Like, I do think people, it is definitely a thing. Being a content creator is for this game is difficult, and you do feel that you have to play the game at times, but don't feel bad for us as much from that perspective. And it's a choice that I make I like to stream Star Citizen. I like to stream in the Star Citizen directory. The chat is really fun to stream with. So I'm good. But I think my frustrations and stuff doesn't come from, oh, the stream content is so bad. Because what I look for in a game and what I want out of the game and what I advocate for is not good is not good content, right? It's grindy as fucking boring shit that nobody wants to watch. So like my frustrations actually come from the perspective of I want my everyday game, and it's not I want my everyday stream game, if that makes sense. So like to put that into perspective for people, I'm looking for something different than what you think, where I do see a lot of comments out there of it's all about the content for us, and it's not real. That's not the case for me. It's about that MMO grind. So
All
all right,
thanks, Mike. Was
Yeah, man.
a nice little convo.
a little one, yeah, and hopefully we'll have another one another day on the other one. But happy New Year, all the best to
Yep.
you. Enjoy your
Thanks.
piracy patch for a few months, and then we'll see you next year.
Sure. See you later.
All right, brother. Be good. All right, and that was Answer the Call. Thanks for watching today, guys. Yeah, just a final. 2022 did not build on 2021. 2023, I just hope builds a little bit on 2022. There's a lot of cool things in 2022. There's a lot of cool things that are coming in 2023. I think the biggest takeaway and the thing that I loved the most about 2022 that I haven't mentioned yet was the Montreal team jumping in and making those racetracks because they were inspired by us, the community. I want to see other teams and other elements of this company be inspired by other parts of the game and other communities in the game, and do as much for them as they did for racetracks and racing. That is probably was an easy thing to do in comparison to some other things, but man, very cool aspect of the game, and very cool to see them be inspired by members of the community. And I think that was a huge win, even though it may not be something that you're interested in. You have to look at that as an overall positive. So, and I definitely do. And I hope to see more of that in the future as well. So a lot more employees at this company. Looking forward to seeing what they do in 2023. And hopefully they're not all working on Squadron 42. So that is that for me, guys. Thank you for watching. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you for a wonderful 2022. I started my stream out today with a bunch of New Year's resolutions. Most of them are just, be a little healthier, a little less sugar in my life, drinking a little bit more water. I usually have like a big sweet cup of sweet tea basically in the morning. And I didn't have it today. We'll see how long I stick to stuff like that. Going for more walks and on my Twitch stream, playing more games, not just Star Citizen. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful 2023. And yeah, here's to another year.